Alright guys, we got a juicy one today. First of all, some of you guys ask me, why do I always record in the car? Well, you see, if I record outside, sometimes there's a lot of background noises and kids talking and all that kind of stuff. But today I am out in the mountains. Hopefully I don't scratch my Neo again, enjoying a nice cup of coffee. So this is a very pleasant surprise for shareholders, and that is the fact that the ES8 is actually in hot demand. A lot of people are buying this car. A lot of people are test driving this car, and right now the wait time is around 1 month, and a lot of people are complaining that they can't get their ES8s, and it's been a month since they've placed their order. Now you guys might think that this has something to do with supply, which might be possible. It might be possible that there might be supply constraint. The ES8 isn't producing as much as we want, but let me explain why I think it's more because of super high demand for that car. Because if you look at the deliveries for the ES8, and we're just going to take a magnifying glass and ignore everything else, the ES8 has been steadily on an uptrend. And for the 4th week of September, ES8 deliveries weekly insurance registrations has hit an all-time high of 629 for the 4th week of September. And on this chart, apart from the EC6, the ES8 deliveries is the only one that has a weekly high, all right, weekly all-time high. So the overall end result is people are buying this car in big quantities. Now, some people have called ES8 a major flop, but this really proves that this is not a flop at all. At launch, it was a little bit underwhelming for a lot of people, but for all Neos, it's basically where you can touch and see are good, but what's even better is what's underneath the car. So, for example, the suspension of that car uses dual chamber air suspension, and some of the other competitors also use dual chamber air suspension, but it's never actually the same as an ES8. People, if you test drive an ES8 and you test drive the other guys, you can feel immediately that the ES8 is on a different tier on itself. And then the ES8 also uses a full aluminum frame body, and it's also got the best seats and also a fridge. Now, in terms of the marketing front for the fridge, I do believe that if Neo pushes harder with marketing, they can get a ton more sales with the ES8. Because if you look at Li Auto's marketing for the fridge, it's just absolutely amazing, all right? Again, it's just the marketing. They're doing a fantastic job with the marketing of the fridge for Li Auto. And a lot of Neo owners have told management that, hey, you guys gotta focus more on marketing for the fridge scenario-wise. If you look at the Li Auto ad, I mean, they do a fantastic job with it. But we can see, nonetheless, that the trend for the ES8 is up. Deliveries are increasing. People want this car more and more. And the fact of the matter is, at this price point at around 600k RMB for pure electric car, you can't really get a car that's much better than this. A lot of people have compared this to the Land Rover. It actually does look very similar, and it has a very nice design, very nice appeal, and it is right now the best that Neo has to offer. What's really interesting is that if you look at the sales of ES8 insurance registrations versus ET5 plus ET5T, I mean, like, Neo is getting up there. The ES8 is getting up there, almost surpassing those two cars. Can you believe that? That's something that's hard to comprehend. The most expensive vehicle for Neo is about to outsell its most cheap vehicle. Obviously, this is good and bad at the same time, because it means the entry-level vehicle might need some more work, but this is definitely a major plus nonetheless, because at the end of the day, we'd all rather be selling more ES8s than selling ET5s and ET5Ts. All this means for Q3 revenue, man, we're gonna see a big revenue boost, and margins are probably gonna improve from ES8 sales. And also for Q4, if we see this trend continue, and I do expect it to continue, and we could really see Neo hit a home run with the ES8, because it is looking like a home run at this moment. And going forward, I expect this car to continue selling really well. The trend, all right, the trend is probably going to look even better than the ES6 and the ET5T, because for those guys, they have a lot of competition. But for the ES8, it's pretty much, if you want a car at that price point, you got only a few options, and Neo is by far the best. There's there's no room for even consideration for the other guys. The other guys are basically MPVs, and also for, I guess, the first time ever, this car, NIO's ES8, is a very good competitor to the Li Auto L9. And yes, it's not apples to apples comparison, but a lot of people do consider both of them at the same time. This car does offer a lot of things that the Li Auto L9 offers, albeit pure electric and certain aspects better, but this car is more expensive than the Li Auto L9. But at the end of the day, the ES8 is the luxury EV that you can buy. The best of the best of the best. If you've test driven this car, you would know that this drives fantastically smooth. And I got a separate test drive video with the NIO manager of the ES8. And to be honest, this car, if I had like an extended family and they were all here in Beijing and I had to get a new NIO, it would be a very hard toss-up between the EC7 and the brand new ES8. If one day weekly insurance registrations for the ES8 gets above 1,000, that would be a game changer, guys. That would change everything. Fingers crossed, I hope that happens. It looks like it might happen. It might happen. They made the ES8 way too good. The best of the best. Let's all hope that the ES8 can sell more and more in the future, all right? And I think with a little bit more marketing, this can actually become a massive, massive success for NIO. Just on this one vehicle alone, because it's the most expensive vehicle. If your most expensive product sells well, you're going to be doing fine. The company is going to be doing fine, regardless of how the other cars sell. And I want you guys to remember, if a company offers an expensive product and a cheap product, having them sell more of the expensive product really just pulls the overall brand image higher. And that's exactly what you want with NIO. Whereas with some of the other companies, you might see them also offer a expensive EV, but then that doesn't sell well. I'm not going to say their names, but then they sell really well for the cheaper EVs, and that really pulls the brand image down. So with NIO, of course, NIO is priced at the luxury EV sector, so you definitely want this to happen, and it is indeed happening. So this is a very good sign. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. And you want NIO to be known for the ES8 and not for that much for the ET5, whereas some of the other car brands, they're known for their cheaper variants and not so much for the more expensive variants. The ES8 selling well would also help customers justify purchasing the cheaper cars like the ET5, because you know there's so much premiumness to the ES8 and it's validified by the sales. Then that means it's a very good brand, and if you have the funds to get the ET5, then you absolutely should. All right, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, peace out.